What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are looking at Bitcoin Cash today. Somebody requested this earlier today, and I was trying to find out who you were. I'm sure you know who you are. I forget who it was. I wanted to give you a shout out, but we do updates every single day on Bitcoin Cash, anyways. I wasn't able to give an update in the midday like I normally do. I had other priorities, man. Life happens. You gotta do things, take care of the fam and all that stuff. So. I forget who it was. I really forget who it was. But Chilhouette, if you're watching this one, man, I want to do something for you and maybe for the rest of you too. I know I've gone over this a few times in my videos, but you were asking what this purple line is or like how to get it, and I kind of explained it in the comment, but I'll show you how to do it if that wasn't enough, right? So I deleted it there. Go to indicators. You know, right here you go to technicals. It's one of my favorites, but if you go to technicals here, it's alphabetical. You're going to look for S's, I think, or maybe it's no. You're going to go to M's. It's going to be moving average, not exponential, not ribbon, but simple. Moving average simple, and that's the one that you want, right? And it'll look like this. It'll probably be a blue line. You double click it. The input that I use is 123. And then the style, you know, I like to change the color. I make it purple or whatever, like a kind of like color like that. And it's kind of thin there. I feel like it's not as easy to see, so I do make it just a little bit thicker. I don't make it too thick, right? I like to make it like just a little bit thicker, just barely. And that's the line we got right there. So if you want to add that on, anybody out there, you know, it's as simple as going to indicators, technicals, scroll down, go to M, wherever that is, moving average simple. That's what you want to do, and then adjust it to yourself. If you don't want the 123, mess around, man. Mess around. You know, like we could use the you know, the 21 is a very that's 3 weeks, right? So a lot of people use the 21. You can see, you know, you have respect on the 21 more or less as well. It's a little tighter knit, right? It's smaller. It takes less time to form, so it's a lot tighter knit. Some people use things as big as the 500 even, or the 200, right? And those are moving averages that people do use. You know, these are more significant moving averages. Some people would say that if you're above the 200, you're in a bull market. You're below it, you're in a bear market. You know, some people say stuff like that, but some people say that for the 50. Some people, you know, I don't know. It all depends. But for me, I like the 123. And without getting too much more into that, let's actually get into the TA side of things. So right now, looking at the RSI, we are showing a bearish posture. We did reject this area once, so we might be rejecting it again. The day does have 19 hours and 41 minutes left in it, so a lot can happen in that time. We're only down 1% right now, so could we, by the end of today in 19 hours and 40 minutes from now, could we close the day green? We absolutely could. Completely possible. At the moment, though, it doesn't look too good, but I don't know. I kind of feel like opening the day this dramatically bearish right off to the start in the first, like, 4.5 hours, that does, to me, imply that we're going to go higher, or at least close the day green, maybe. But I don't know. We did close, and I want to say, you know, I kind of want to say something here today, and I wanted to say it before, but I feel like today was just the kick in the pants that I needed. But I think this, we closed above the 236. I think it's pretty obvious by now that we are just disregarding this 236. Like, yes, we are hovering around it, but I don't think it's really a line to put too much under a microscope. I think the lines to watch would be this line here and this line here. If you can get above this, treat this like a significant break. If you can get below this, treat this like a significant break. Anything in between is just more of what we've been seeing for the past like 2 weeks or so now. So just to clarify that, don't get your hopes up that we closed above the 236. But again, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's better than closing below it, right? So that's the next thing that you'd really want to do to get more conviction would be close above this white line here at 255.60. Okay, so that's not too far away. It could move in that price in a day, no problem. Let's look again at the 4-hour here. You know, I think what we've got, guys. And I actually talked about it on Twitter. I'll go to my Twitter real quick. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter and I have a busy day like I did today and I'm unable to make videos, I do like to, you know, I do watch charts and I do keep you guys in mind. I try to make updates if I can. And so my Twitter is @ChrisHarris85. I'm BTChris, BTCHRIS. I have 67 followers. I do not have a blue check mark, but it is legitimate. I think the world can and will be better, you know. before I don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna get too into that. I have a philosophy about that, but I'm not gonna get into it. We're here for TA, guys. So talking about Dogecoin here and talking about Bitcoin Cash. And what I was saying, this was on the 4-hour. On the 4-hour, we have hidden bearish divergence presenting itself, and I said lower lows to come, and I do mean that. I do think that that's likely going to happen. As you can see here, you've got higher reads in the RSI, basically tipping off at this same area where you've tipped off before too, but it is a higher read, and you're getting lower lows, and you had some bearish follow through afterwards. I would say that I'm sorry, lower lows. You have higher highs and lower highs. You don't have lower lows yet. You actually have a double bottom as of right now. But, you know, as I said, I think I even said it actually before we had this double bottom, before we even came down to here. I think I said it somewhere around here that it wouldn't surprise me if we had a double bottom look. A lot of people got excited that we were going to go up, that it's done, you know, and that we're not going to go lower. And then all we're going to do is promote another lower high and eventually move lower. That's kind of my expectation, and that hasn't changed. I remember saying that exact thing on a few videos, but here we have it. Hidden bearish divergence. You normally see that confirmed in downtrends, which I do believe we are in a downtrend at the moment, at least on the 4-hour aspect. You know, on the weekly aspect, it's arguable that we just broke out of a sideways trend. We're starting an uptrend right now, but starting it, you know, you're going to have a high, you're going to have a higher low, then you're going to have a higher high. That's, you know, we might be starting an uptrend, but we haven't really defined it yet. We're in the beginnings of it. Whether we go down or up from here, we're at the beginnings of it. So looking at this 4-hour, I think is very telling. I do think that, you know, getting up into the bullish area of control like we were for such a short amount of time and just rejecting it back down. I mean, the last time that we saw this, we went straight down to the oversold zone. Could we do that now? I think so. I think it's totally possible. And if we did that, you know, that would probably take us below these lows here, below those original lines I was talking about. If this was a white line here that I had before, which is at about 232, that's where I think we would go. Let me see here. My phone is what I use for my camera. If anybody wants to make YouTube videos, you guys, that's what got me convinced, man. Somebody told me, like, if you want to make YouTube videos, you can do it. You don't need a whole lot. You don't, you know, our smartphones have very fancy cameras in them nowadays. So anyways, a rejection from here would look bad. You're double topping this 50 area, you're rejecting an area that you've rejected before, and I would think that we'd want to go lower. Where would we go from here? Being how methodical that Bitcoin Cash has been this whole time moving down, and I'll give it to you guys. You know, some of you have made the comments and the points that it's taken more time to move down than it ever has. That's completely true. But I still respect the fibs. I still respect the overall behavior that Bitcoin Cash has given to us every single time in its history, which is that it had one time where it barely went above the 382. So maybe we go below 210, maybe around 205 or $200, and then we bounce from there, maybe. But that was just one time. Every other instance in Bitcoin Cash's history where you measure from top to or bottom to top, or even top to bottom on a significant fib level, on a noticeable, like relative low, relative high, at a minimum, you've gone to just above the 0.5. And most of the time, you've gone at least a little bit through it, if not down to the 0.69 area, and sometimes even to the 786 and 886. So with the one-time exception being that you went just barely above the 382 for your low, every other time in existence, it went at the lowest just above the 0.5, if not lower. I still stand by my original price targets, which I've had for a very long time now, as most of you probably know, which are around 185 to 135. And I do think, man, as we're moving sideways like this, we are probably going to get a solid flush. You know, I wasn't expecting that back down here. I was thinking that we'd get a more methodical move down, but we moved down, and then we've just been moving sideways. So I think with all this boring price action right now, whenever we break, I think we're going to get a more significant move than we've seen so far to the downside. I do think we will. And that maybe that significant move only takes us to the 382, and then we bounce up from there. Maybe we bounce up from there and then reject down lower. You know, it doesn't, just because we bounce off that area, it doesn't mean that it's go time yet, but it could. It's something to watch for sure. Personally, if I had like a gut feeling on it, I would think that we do go below 173. But I have buy orders. My highest buy order right now is at 180. I've consolidated my buy orders a little bit, so I have 4 buy orders. I have one at 180, one at 170, just below this 0.5 here, and I have one at the 618 and one just below the 618 at 145. That's my lowest one, and it has about 15% of my overall position that I'm trying to go in. So that's like if I had 100% of what I'm trying to buy in Bitcoin Cash, 15% of it is all the way down here. 50% of it is between the 170 and the 618 area. So at those, literally that order and that order each have 25%, and then the other 25%, you guessed it, is right there at or not 25%. I'm sorry. What would that be? That's larger. It's 20, whatever, 50, 65. So that's like 20. It's 35%. There we go. It's a 35% position right there. At 180. That's kind of how I have it set up. I'm not saying that as financial advice. That's not what I'd recommend. Maybe you guys like to split it up in 10 different buys. Maybe you like to have 2 different buys. Maybe you only like one, which isn't necessarily recommended, but I get it. You know, sometimes that's kind of what I plan on doing with Doge, is just getting one solid buy at whatever low I can find it at. But we'll see. You know, that doesn't normally work out. It's better to layer in your buys, because at least if it does go only to like 173 and I barely miss it and it doesn't go to 170, at least I have 35% in right at 180 there. So then if it goes up, I can at least get in more, and sure, I didn't buy down here, but I can average that missed opportunity. I don't know. I'm explaining some method here. I'm not really going over TA, and the reason I'm not going over TA is because I feel like I already told you guys all there really is that's needed to be known. You know, if we break above this level, it's bull time. If we break below this level, it's bear time. And until then, it is ping pong time. So with that, I leave you. I hope you guys liked the video. Closing statements, I would say be aware. We do have bearish divergence on the 4-hour. This is not to be trifled with. And being the fact that we are already kind of in the middle of this range, I very much would think that we're going to go down. I am expecting a move to the downside that is going to be bigger than any of these days. So far, bigger than, I'm going to delete all these lines, a move that's bigger than any of these red days that we've seen so far, at least on a closing basis. Maybe the wick itself is as big as this, or like the candle body itself is as big as this wick, but compared to any other daily close that we have, the body of the candle itself, I'm expecting a move that's bigger than that to happen very soon, actually, because why? Because we've been moving sideways. So whenever we finally see a move, I think it will be dramatic, to say the least, and maybe not as dramatic as these were, but more dramatic than what we've been accustomed to lately. So that's all I got for you guys. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more, and I will see y'all on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.